Hi everyone, welcome to MyMax Academy. In this video, we'll continue with para linear equations and two variables chapter from 10th standard CBSE math. So we'll continue with exercise 3.7, which is an optional exercise in page number 68 in your textbook. So we'll continue with the third problem. So third problem, I'll read the question. The question says, a train covered a certain distance at a uniform speed. If the train would have been 10 km per hour faster, it should have taken 2 hours less than the scheduled time. If the train were slower by 10 km per hour, it would have taken 3 hours more than the scheduled time. Find the distance covered by the train. So what is given? A train is going at a uniform speed. Suppose if the speed of the train increases by 10 km per hour faster, suppose the train goes 10 km faster than the usual speed, then it reaches the destination or it covers the distance 2 hours less than the scheduled time, 2 hours less than the normal scheduled time. Suppose if it goes slower by 10 km per hour, then it would take 3 hours more to reach the certain distance or certain destination. So we need to find how much distance is covered by the train. Now, the moment you see distance, speed, then we need to think about this, right? Distance is equal to speed into time. Speed into time, right? So distance is equal to speed into time. Now we need to find the distance. To find the distance, we should find speed and time. And both we don't know. Speed and time we don't know. So we'll assume, let the speed of the train, let the uniform speed of the train is x km per hour. Suppose if this is the uniform speed of the train, and we'll assume the time taken by the train to cover the distance. Let the time taken to cover the distance, and the time taken to cover the distance with uniform speed, going by that uniform speed, right? Let the time taken to cover the distance with the uniform speed be y hours. So which means the speed is x km per hour and it takes y hours to cover a certain distance. Then what is the distance traveled? So distance traveled will be speed into time. Speed is x, time is y. So speed into time, x into y, xy. So this is the distance traveled by the train. Now we should, if you read the question, it says if the train would have been 10 km faster, suppose the train goes 10 km faster, which means it is increasing the speed, right? We'll say, so increased speed is what? Increased speed will be what? The train is going 10 km faster, which means the increased speed, original speed is x. It goes 10 km faster means x plus 10 km per hour. This is the increased speed. If it goes with this speed, what is the reduced time? Reduced time will be what? The time, right? The reduced time will be what? Or the time taken, or we can say time taken with increased speed. So what is the time taken with the increased speed? How much time it will take to cover the same distance? It says it will reach 2 hours less than the scheduled time. The scheduled time generally it takes y hours. But if the speed is if it goes by x speed, it will cover in y hours. If it goes with x plus 10 speed, it is increasing the speed, then the time will reduce by 2. That's what they are saying. That's what it is said in the book. If the speed increases by 10, then the time will reduce by 2. It covers, or it would have taken 2 hours less than the scheduled time. Scheduled time is y hours. Then less than 2 than that. It goes in y minus 2 hours. 2 hours less than the scheduled time. Scheduled time is it takes y hours to cover a distance. Suppose if it takes 10 hours to cover a distance, or say suppose it takes 8 hours to cover a distance, the speed is increased by 10, then it will take 2 hours less, which means it will cover the distance in 6 hours. Right? So this is what is given. Now what is the distance? It is covering the same distance. In this case, what is the distance? Distance is what? Speed into time. Speed into time. Y minus 2. Right? Now what is distance? Distance is how much? Xy. So the distance is same everywhere. So xy equal to, now let's multiply. X into y is xy. X into y, xy. X into minus 2 is minus 2x. Right? Then 10 into y is plus 10y. Then 10 into minus 2 is minus 20. Right? Now we'll bring all the variables to one side and number be this side. So if this xy comes this side, so this is xy. And this xy comes here, it will become minus xy. Minus 2x comes here to become plus 2x. Then plus 10y becomes minus 10y. And 20 stays here only. So it remains minus 20. 20 is here only. Minus 20 is here only. I'm not moving that here. So xy get cancelled. You get 2x minus 10y equal to minus 20. Fine. Now, if you observe, everywhere 2 is there. So whenever you write an equation, and if you see that a particular number is same throughout, you can divide by, we can divide by 2. Every term, divide by 2 means what? 2x by 2 will become x. What is minus 10 by y? It will become minus 5y. Equal to, if I divide minus 20 by 2 is what? Minus 10. So if you multiply 2 into x, 2x, 2 into minus 5, minus 10, 2 into minus 10, minus, you will get back the same equation. So you can always simplify the equation. So I will call this as first equation. You can keep it like this also, but if you simplify, this equation is little easier than this equation because these have some big numbers, 10 and 20. Now the numbers have reduced. So always if any number is common, or each term's coefficient is a multiple of some number, then you can cancel throughout by that number. Cancel means you can divide throughout by this number. When I say cancel, it means dividing. Sometimes here if I say cancel means here I am subtracting or adding, whatever. So we are dividing by 2 throughout. Then I get this equation. Right? By dividing by 2 this equation, I get this equation. This is equation 1. Now second information what is given. Suppose if the train goes slower by 10 km per hour, which means reduce the speed. Reduce the speed. Suppose if the speed reduces by 10 means what? Reduce the speed, we can become x minus 10 km per hour. Originally it was going at x km per hour. Now if the speed reduces by 10, which means x minus 10, then my increased time will be what? Or the time taken will be what? Time taken with the reduced speed. With this speed, what is the time? They say it goes, what they say? It should have taken 3 hours more than the scheduled time. Scheduled time is y hours and it takes 3 hours more, which means y plus 3. So this is the new time. So when the speed reduces, automatically the time will increase, right? When you go slowly, then you take time to reach a particular destination. If you go faster, then you will reach the destination quicker, right? So this is one. Now this is speed, this is time. A speed into time, distance, they will cover the same distance. The train will cover the same distance. Distance is what? Speed. Speed is what? This one. X minus 10 into time. This is a new time now. Time is what? Y plus 3. Right? Now let's multiply. So now distance. Distance is what? Distance is xy. So xy equal to x into y is xy. X into 3 is 3x. Minus 10 into y is minus 10y. Minus 10 into 3 is minus 30. Now we'll bring all the variables to one side and we'll keep the number this side. So this will become xy. This xy. Then this xy comes this here. It will become minus xy. So minus xy. Then 3x comes this side. It will become minus 3x. Then 10y comes here. It will become plus 10y equal to minus 30. The 30 stays there. 30 stays there only, right? Now this is xy, this is minus xy. They get cancelled. You get minus 3x plus 10y equal to minus 30. Right? Now there is nothing common. We can't cancel throughout by 3. We can't divide this by 3 because this can be divided by 3, but this is not divisible by 3. So you cannot divide by 3 or any number throughout. So nothing is common here. It's not 3, 10, 30. 3, 10, 30. They are not multiple of any number. So we cannot cancel. So this is your second equation. Now we should solve these two equations. Let's take the first equation. What is it? This one. So x minus 5y equal to minus 10. So this is the first equation. And second equation is this one, minus 3x plus 10y equal to minus 30. Right now we will solve by again elimination method. As I said, that is the easiest method. Now elimination method, what do? We'll check the coefficient. Here it is 1, here it is 3. At least y is same, it is 5, it is 10. So y is also not same. So we can make one of them same. X is same or y is same by doing some multiplication. Suppose if you observe this equation, first equation. So this is equation 1, this is equation 2. Suppose first equation, if you multiply by 3 throughout, if you multiply the first equation by this 3 throughout, only with 3, not with minus 3. You can multiply with minus 3 also, but if you multiply with 3, then it will become 3x. And this is also minus 3x. Which is okay. As long as you have 3, it is fine. One can be plus 3, one can be minus 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply first equation by 3. This 3 means number 3. Second equation, I'm not changing anything. So first equation will become what? Multiply each term by 3. So 3 into x, 3x. 3 into minus 5y, minus 15y. 3 into minus 10 is minus 30. Now, second equation I will write as it is. 3x minus 3x plus 10y equal to minus 30. Fine. Now, we should add or subtract. Now, this is plus 3, this is minus 3. So, both are having different sign. Different sign means we not change the sign below. Which means we need not subtract. We can directly add. So, this is plus 3 minus 3. If I add, it will get cancelled. Minus 15 plus 10 is minus 5y. This is minus 60. So you get y is equal to minus 60 by minus 5. Your y will become 12. Right? Minus minus will become plus. You will get plus 12. So y is 12. Now we have got the value of y. Y is the time taken. Y is the time taken to cover the distance. Time taken. Generally, what is the scheduled time? Right? So y we have got. So what is the ultimately what we have to find? We have to find the distance. That is what is asked in the question. To find the distance, we should find x and y. We have got y. I will substitute and find x. Once we know x and y, we will substitute here to get the distance. Now what is x? Let's go to this equation. Equation number 1. We will substitute y is equal to 12 in first equation. So if I substitute y is equal to 12 in the first equation, what do we get? We get, what is our first equation? X minus 5y equal to minus 10. Now substitute y is equal to 12 here. I will get x minus 5 into 12. 5y means 5 into y. Instead of y, I am putting 12. Right? So equal to minus 10. So x is equal to, x minus 60 equal to minus 10. So 5 times 12 is 60. X is equal to minus 10 plus 60, which means x is equal to 50. X is equal to 50. So now we have found, what we have found? We have found x and y, which means we have found the uniform speed of the train, and we have found the time it generally takes to cover that distance, which is 12 hours. So we will write here. So speed is the uniform speed of the train. What is the uniform speed of the train? It is x is the speed, 50 kilometers per hour. 50 kilometer per hour. Then what is the time? Scheduled time. Scheduled time to cover the distance. Cover the distance. What is scheduled time to cover the distance? Scheduled time to cover the distance is y. Y is 12 hours. Now what we have to find ultimately? We need to find the distance. So total distance, or the distance covered by the train, right? They say find the distance covered by the train. So distance covered by the train. Distance covered by the train. What is that? That is x into y. This is the distance covered by the train, x into y, right? That is equal to x into y. That is equal to, what is x? 50. What is y? 12. What is 50 times 12? 600 kilometers. 600 kilometers. Right? So the train covers a distance of 600 kilometers. That is the distance the train generally covers. Fine. So this is how we do this third problem. Now we'll go to the fourth one. Fourth one is what? Let me erase this. Hope you all have understood this. Please, if you could solve this, then we can you can get the answer very easily. If you have to just practice it 2-3 times. If you practice, then this problem becomes very easy. But the main thing is that in practice you need to understand the question, and we need to think what we have to apply to solve this. Then practice. Okay, so next one is fourth question. So fourth question says, the students of a class are made to stand in a row. In rows. Students of a class are made to stand in rows. So they are standing in different rows. If 3 students are extra in a row, there would be 1 row less. If 3 students are less in a row, there would be 2 rows more. Find the number of students in a class. So a class has certain number of students. They are being asked to stand in a row, in rows. So some number of students are standing in the first row, the same number of students are standing in the second row, third row, so on and so forth. So like that we have some number of rows, and each row has some number of students. So we have some number of rows, and each row has some number of students. Now suppose if 3 students are extra in a row, suppose in a row they are standing. If I add 3 students extra to a row, right, then obviously the number of rows will reduce, right? Suppose in a row if there are 10 students, like the 10 students are sitting. Suppose if I make that row as 13 students, then the number of rows will reduce, right? When I increase the number of students in a particular row, then the number of rows will reduce, right? So suppose if I have a student of like this, these are the students. Suppose I'm keeping 5 students in each row, right? Like that, if I have, this is just an example I'm giving it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows are there, and each 6 rows are there now. This is R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, and R6. Right? So 6 rows are there. Now each row has how many students? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 students. Student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, student 5. Now suppose if I try to make one student extra in each row, which means 1 student will be extra. So totally how many students are there here? 6 rows are there, each row has 5 students, so totally 30 students. 6 times 5, 30 students will be there. Each dot is 1 student. Each dot is 1 student. Are you guys able to follow this? I'm just putting a little darker so that it is visible when you see it on the video. Fine? Right? So suppose that, so there are 5 students in a row, and how many rows are there? 6 rows. Suppose if I increase the number of students in each row, suppose I'm putting 1 more student here. Yes, 6. Like this. Then I don't need this row. Because again the number of students is what? 5 into 6, 30 students. So which means when you increase the number of students in a particular row, the number of rows will reduce. And if you reduce the number of students in each row, suppose if you put only 4 students in one row, then number of rows will increase. So if you increase the number of students standing in a row, if you increase the number of students standing in a row, then number of rows will decrease. If you reduce the number of students in a row, then the number of rows will increase. Fine. So that is the main logic in this problem. So now what is given? So we need to find how many students are there in the class, which means we should know how many students are standing in a row. In one row, how many students are standing, and then how many rows are there. Right? Once you know that, suppose if you have suppose in your school, in one row, suppose 4 students are sitting. 4 students are sitting in one row, and you have 10 rows like that. Then what is the total number of students? Number of students is 4 in a row, and there are 10 rows, which means 4 into 10 rows, 40. 40 students are there in your class. So we should have 2 things. One is number of students in a row, and then number of rows. Once we know those 2, when you multiply those 2, then you will get the total number of students in the class. So we will say let the number of students in each row is x. So x number of students are there. Now let the number of rows equal to y, or let the number of rows is, or let the total number of rows, or number of rows, doesn't matter, total number of, or I'll put the number will confuse, let the number of rows is y. So there are x number of students in one row and there are y rows, right? Suppose for example 4 students in one row and there are 10 rows like that. Then total number of students is how many students we have in one row into the number of rows. That will become the total number of students. In my example of 4 students in a row and 10 rows, it will become 4 into 10, which is 40. 40 students are there in the class. So here, yes, x number of students are there in one row and there are y rows. So total students will be what in the class? The total students in the class will be equal to x into y. xy. X multiplied by y. Number of students in one row into the number of rows will give you the total number of students in the class. Like 4 into 10, 40. If there are 4 students in a row and there are 10 rows, then 4 into 10 is 40. 40 is the number of students. It's just an example I'm giving for you to understand. Now, what is the situation that is given in the problem? It says, suppose if we add 3 students extra in a row, there would be 1 row less. Which means, suppose if I increase the number of students, suppose the number of students in a row, number of students in a row is equal to, suppose x plus 3, which means I am adding number of students in a row. Initially it was x, but now I am putting 3 students extra in each row. So number of students in one row will be what? X plus 3. I am adding 3 students. That's what if 3 students are extra in a row, which means extra in a row means we are making 3 students to stand extra. Instead of 4 students, we make them as 7 students in a row. Instead of 4 students in a row, we are making the 7 students in a row. So which means instead of x, we are making it as x plus 3. Then what will happen? The number of rows. The number of rows will become what? Number of rows will become what? In this case, if each row has x plus 3 students, the rows would, then what they say, if 3 students are extra in a row, there will be 1 row less. So row is y and that will become y minus 1. Number of rows will be reduced by 1 if I add 3 students to each row. Now what is the total students? The total number of students is same. Total students in the class will be what? Will be equal to this into this. Number of students in each row into number of rows. Here it was x and y, so we put xy. Here it is x plus 3 and y minus 1. Clear? So we are making, okay, so the total number of students in the class will be equal to number of students in a row multiplied by number of rows. So which will be x plus 3 into y minus 1. Clear? Y minus 1. That will give the total number of students in the class. Right? So now what is the total number of students in the class as per this xy? So I will put xy. So this is similar to the previous problem that we did, this distance and speed. Same way. So here instead of speed, we are having number of students in a row. Instead of time, we are having it as number of rows. So total number of students in the class is xy. That is equal to, now multiply this. So x into y is xy. Then x into minus 1 is minus x. 3 into y is 3y. 3 into minus 1 is minus 3. Clear? So the total number of students is what? Number of students in a row multiplied by total number of rows. Same like this, x into y. Here the x has become x plus 3 and y has become y plus 1. So, but for the total number of students, you still need to multiply these two to get this. Now let's bring everything to one side. We'll have xy. This xy comes here, it becomes minus xy. X comes here, it becomes plus x. 3y becomes minus 3y equal to minus 3. Now again, if you simplify this, what do we get? xy goes x minus 3y equal to minus 3. This is your first equation. So this is from the first information we got this first equation. And what is second information? It says if 3 students are less in a row. The second information is, the second statement that I am reading is, if 3 students are less in a row, which means number of students in a row becomes what? Now second case, number of students in a row. Now the second statement, what it says, information 2, what it says, if the number of students are 3, if 3 students are less in a row, 3 students are less in a row means x becomes x minus 3. When number of students are 3 less in a row, 3 less in a row means x minus 3. Then the total number, so number of rows becomes what? Number of rows will be equal to how much? The rows, there would be 2 more rows. The rows will increase. When you reduce the number of students in a row, the number of rows will increase. How much it is increasing? It is increasing by 2. So that's what is there. If 3 students are less in a row, then there will be 2 rows more, which means number of rows will become, from y, it will become y plus 2. So if the number of students in a row is reduced by 3, which means x minus 3, then the number of rows will increase. Obviously, will increase the number of rows. Right? So now what is the total number of students in the class? Total number of students is same. Total students in the class will be equal to, total students will be what? This into this. Number of students in one row into number of rows. X minus 3 into y plus 2. So what is the total number of students in the class? That is always same. Total number of students in the class doesn't change. Now, number of students, we make them stand in a row and the number of rows both change. But not the total number of students in the class. Total number of students in the class is same. So total number of students in the class is this into this. So what is the total number of students in the class? That is xy. So xy equal to, here multiply, x into y is xy, x into 2 is 2x, minus 3 into y is minus 3y, minus 3 into plus 2 is minus 6. So let's bring all these variables to this side and only the numbers here. Xy, this xy comes here, minus xy equal to minus xy, then 2x also comes this side, minus 2x plus 3y equal to minus 6. So these two will get cancelled. We will have minus 2x plus 3y equal to minus 6. This is equation 2. Now let's take these two equations and we'll solve. So what is our equation 1? So what is equation 1? Equation 1 was x minus 3y equal to minus 3. That is first equation. Then minus 2x plus 3y is equal to minus 6. Now we should solve these two equations. So this is your first equation. This is your second, minus 2x plus 3y minus 6 is the second equation. So this is your second equation. Right, now we need to solve them. Again we'll solve by elimination method. Right, so for elimination method, what do we check? We'll check the variable. I mean the coefficient of the variable is same. Here it is 1, here it is minus 2, they are not same. Here it is minus 3, here it is plus 3. We can consider it as same. The sign can change, but as long as you have 3, 3, we are okay. So we can directly add or subtract. Now the signs are different. The signs are different, you don't have to change the sign. So we'll directly add. So if I add means x minus 2x will become minus x. These two will get cancelled because minus 3y and plus 3y will get cancelled. If you add this, you will get minus 9. So x will become minus 9 by minus 1. Or you can cancel like minus both sides. So x will become 9. So we have got x is equal to 9. Now substitute x is equal to 9 in this equation, first equation, to find y. So substituting x is equal to 9 in first equation. If I substitute it in the first equation, what do we get? We get x minus 3y equal to minus 3. Now substitute x is equal to 9 here. So we get 9 minus 3y equal to minus 3. So minus 3y equal to minus 3. 9 goes here, it becomes minus 9. So minus 3y equal to minus 12. Y becomes minus 12 by minus 3. So y becomes 4. So the number of students in a row, in each row is x is 9 and the total number of rows is y. So we have got x and y. So number of students in a row, number of students in a row is equal to how much? X. And what is x? 9. So 9 students are there. Right? Number of rows is equal to 4. So we have found the number of students in one row, and there are how many rows? 4 rows are there. In one row 9 students are sitting. Like that 4 rows are there. Then what is the total number of students in the class? 9 into 4, 36 students are there. So total number of students in the class is, total number of students in the class is equal to 9 into 4. which is x into y. That is equal to 36 students. So that is the answer. There are 36 students in the class. Right? You can also verify by substituting x and y value here and make sure that it is satisfying, or you can verify this condition. When number of students increases by 3, the row will reduce by 1. So if the number of students is 9 is standing in one row, so suppose if I make the 9 as 12, if I increase by 3, 12, then the row reduces by 1, which means the row becomes 3. Here this x and y. The x is 9. Here x is 9, y is 4. But if x becomes x plus 3, which means if 9 becomes 12, then my y minus 1 will become 3. So this will be 12, this is 3. What is 12 into 3? We'll get still 36. Or if I reduce 3 people from each row, so 9, if 9 becomes 6, if I reduce by 3, then I will have 6. X minus 3 will become 6. If 6 students stand in a row, the number of rows increases by 2, which means how many rows are there? 4. 4 will become 6. So number of students in each row is 6. Total number of rows is 6. So 6 into 6, 36. So you will get this total strength of the class as 36. So this is the answer. This is how we can validate your answer also. Fine. So we will stop here. You can watch my next video for the continuation of this. Thank you for watching.